Alright, I said I would do one on Premiere, so I'm going to go ahead and do one on Premiere. I talked about the emails that I got from them, so here's the proof. When I got hired on, they said 5 days out, regional. This is for like the Olathe terminal, the Chicago location, and other locations that deliver TJ Maxx and Marshalls somewhat locally. Over the road's a little bit different. So basically 5 days out, weekends off, right? And you can read that for yourself. I got that in an email from Premiere. Monday through Friday. Now, everybody starts out, unfortunately, at 55 cents a mile, and you get a penny per year raise. Drop and hook pay is $10. Live unloads are $20. And it's $20 per stop. They say average gross weekly is $18 to $2,000. That's bullcrap. Knock about $500 off of that. Anyways, and of course they expect you to run 6 days a week, not really 5 days a week. Even though they said 5 days a week right there at the top, it's not really 5 days a week. So they lie about that. I guess this is regional owner-operators. So if you're an owner-operator working out of the Olathe terminal or the Chicago terminal, it's only $1.50 a mile, which is not as good as I was originally told. But I was, told that by another driver, and apparently they lied. Now, see, they say you get paid vacation, detention, stop off, holiday pay, which is true. But the holidays, if the holiday falls during the week, then you lose part of your days off on the weekends. So you have to work 5 to 6 days every single week, regardless. So if a holiday falls during the week, you lose your 1 day or one of your 2 days off on the weekends. When I started, they said 5 days a week home. 5 days a week, 2 days, weekends off, 2 full days. Then after I hired on, they said, oh, well, that's with the exception of like Christmas holiday season. You got to work 6 days a week for 2 months out of the year. Then 2 months became 3 months. Then 3 months became 4 months. Then 4 months became 5 months. And then that's when I bounced and I went over the road. That was one of my biggest problems with the Olathe terminal that, and I didn't really like doing the deliveries to TJ Maxx and Marshalls. I said this before. I didn't mind unloading, but TJX, which is the corporate logo, which they're publicly traded, they only pay 1% dividend, and they might pay annually or every 2 years. So if you don't get your dividend the first year, well, you might get it the next year. Anyways, might. So anyways, I think Ross is actually better, but they don't have their own delivery trucks either. They contract out, but theirs is different. So I don't even know how to tell you to go haul for Ross, but theirs is all drop and hook pretty much. And but I just like Ross store better, and I think Ross pays a better dividend. But anyhow, but they both pay about 1%. Yeah, so you have to deliver, you have to load and unload. Well, okay. So they load the trailer for you at the hub. And, of course, they don't really load it right. I don't know about the other terminals, but in the Olathe terminal, it's all Mexicans. And, you know, I always grew up with the knowledge that Mexicans are hard workers. But apparently not the ones at that terminal, because it's like they don't really care. They just shove all that stuff in there, and they just half-ass do everything. And I don't know if they're urinating in the trailers or not, but I've smelled urine in the trailers. So I don't know if they're urinating in the trailers or not, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, I've always thought Mexicans were like good quality, hard workers, but growing up anyways. But at least my experience at that terminal, not so much. They don't give a shit. Anyways, and you can't tell them nothing, because then they probably don't understand you. But I've reported, you know, different things like, hey, this could be done better. If they do it this way, it's better for us. You know, blah, blah, blah. They don't care. Nobody cares. So you're at the mercy of whatever. And so you get there, you unload, which that's not so bad, except for how they load some of the pallets. Makes it difficult for you to unload, but you're getting paid by the hour, because you get paid pretty good for the stop, and then after the first hour you get paid for, you know, you get paid by the 15-minute thereafter. So so that wasn't too bad, except for the fact that when you deliver to the stores, they never have room for the product. Some of the stores are worse than others. And I guess if I wasn't in a hurry all the time, because they were you had a deadline. You had to get to all the stores by the end of the day. And sometimes, you know, you were hauling balls to get to the last store, to get to all the stores. And it was a pain in the ass. And so they hardly had room for the product, especially during the winter season, their peak season with the holidays. That was a nightmare. And then getting into the stores sometimes is a nightmare because of traffic. And then, so they didn't have room for the product, but they wanted you to make room for the product. And a lot of times they wanted you to rearrange their warehouse to make room for the product. It's like, that's not my job. That's your job. And it's like, yeah, I get paid by the hour or whatever to do it, or I get paid by the hour to sit and wait for you to do it, you know? So at first I was doing it myself because I was like, a lot of the workers are women, and women are obviously better manipulators than men, and men tend to be soft on women, so they would coerce me into doing it for them, and a lot of times I did, but towards the end I was like, nope, that's not my job, you got to do it. But unless they were cool, there were a couple of them that were really nice and really cool, and that's the best way to manipulate me, is being nice to me. So if you're cool, if you're nice, then I'm more likely to do you a favor. So yeah, I know, like the one in St. Joe, Missouri probably misses me because they were always happy to see me. They were all like, oh, it's you, and it was like I was one of their favorite drivers. And there was a couple other places too, like I think Rolla, Missouri liked me. And then yeah, probably half of them liked me, but some of them really liked me over the other drivers. And also, I was more friendly probably than some of the other drivers. But anyways, and some of the stores were more of my favorite than the others. Like, I really liked the Marshalls in Merriam because they were on top of it. They almost always had room for the product. There was a couple times they didn't, but I cut them some slack because they were always on top of it. Their back room was almost always pristine. They almost always had room for the product. It was almost always easy for me to unload. They packed their Gaylords, these large bins for the recyclable material. They packed them good, so it was easy to reload them onto the trailer. The people that did their Gaylords well, and the people that kept their back room clean, or the back room up to par, those are the ones I like best because they made my job easier. So anyways, but that was few and far between. There was one up in Iowa that always had room for the product, 99% of the time. Home every week. That's true, except it may not be for 2 days. Their 401k package sucks ass. Not even worth it. And their medical benefits are crap too. They pay $1,000 at the end of the year or at your anniversary date for a loyalty bonus. They pay $100 for clean inspection, which that's cool. And they pay $100 safety bonus if you watch these safety videos, and there's usually about 10. So it's like you get paid $10 per video. And it's not bad if you remember to do it. $1,200 referral bonus. I wouldn't know anything about that because I don't refer people anymore. 401k, dental health, life insurance, paid time off. There is no PTO. So that's a lie. There is no PTO. At least I don't think there is. I'm gonna have to call them on that, because I've never heard of no PTO. So maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow. I'll call and record the conversation with recruiting and ask them about PTO, because I never heard of no PTO. So, but that might be I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that before. Alright, so going back, this is okay, and they sent me this November of last year because I was looking at buying a truck. I'm not going to buy a truck, but anyways. I think this is Midwest Regional, so this is over the road. 10 to 14 days out. $10 to $40 for stop pay. That's about right. Yeah, see, they only pay $1 for empty miles and $1.50 for loaded miles. So that's not that great. I wouldn't buy a truck for that price. As an owner-operator, you should be getting closer to $2 a mile. No-touch freight, unless it's home goods. Well, that's still no-touch freight. We don't have to unload. That being said, they do still try to talk me into doing local runs for Chicago area, and I'm like, nope. Home every week? That's not true. It's 10 to 14 days out, not home every week. So there, they just contradicted themselves. $1,000, $100. Okay, $1,000 loyalty bonus, $100 clean inspection, $100 monthly safety, and then the referral bonus. So yeah, that's accurate. That being said, I found out today. So, detention time for the local drivers, like say when the Olathe terminal and the Chicago loads, anyone who's delivering like locally or somewhat locally, over here on this one, like the Olathe regional 5 days out, and the Chicago one, and other locations like that, those you get detention after the first hour. But over here, over the road, over here, over the road, 10 to 14 days out, detention is after 2 hours. So I was claiming detention after 1 hour because I was used to getting paid for detention after 1 hour. But out here, it's only detention after 2 hours. So I was just finally informed that, and I've been here since July. So, yeah. But my last dispatcher, I had a hard time getting detention and breakdown too. He kept telling me to go through this other guy, and he kept giving me this runaround on who to go through, and I never got any resolution. And so I just gave up because I was like, what the fuck, you know? It's like, well, I don't do that. You have to go through this guy. And I didn't even know this guy. And I was trying to communicate with this guy, and about the only thing I was able to get through that guy was my vacation pay. But everything else was a rat race. I mean, it was just like, he never responded to my texts. He never responded to any of my phone calls. Nothing. And my dispatcher said, oh, well, I don't handle breakdown, and I don't handle detention time. You have to go through this other guy. And he didn't even give me the last name. So I automatically assumed it was my old dispatcher out of Olathe. And he's like, not me. So I had to track this other guy down. It's a pain in the ass. So this dispatcher, he's been placating me, saying that he would pay it, but he never would. But now he says he's going to go back, or he went back and made sure I'm getting paid for everything. However, detention's after 2 hours, not 1 hour. So I'll lose a little bit of money there, but whatever. And I'm not making a whole lot here. After my anniversary date in July, I'm going to be making 57 cents a mile. I could be making 10 cents more a mile somewhere else easily. And that's an extra $250 a week, you know, that I could potentially be making somewhere else. So, that being said, some of the other companies may not pay detention, or they may not pay breakdown, where these guys pay breakdown. So, you know, at least I get paid for breakdown if I can get paid. So, you know, it's like a lot of drivers will pass the buck. And I'm one of the few drivers who won't pass the buck 90% of the time. You know, like I said, our trailers, that's another thing that's nice about this company, is our trailers have a lot of them anyways, especially the newer ones. They have auto air. So if the trailer gets a nail in the tire, it's no big deal. You know, if the tire's a little low when you pick it up, no big deal. The auto air system will air it back up, boom, go down the road. Even if it's off the bead, if it's off the rim. This freaked me out when I was with CTI. I picked up a trailer, tire was off the rim, or off the bead. It wasn't off the rim. It was still on the rim, but it was off the bead. And so I picked it up and I went to the shop. Of course, CTI, they don't pay breakdown. So I sat there for several hours with no pay, trying to fix this thing. And when I got to the shop, the tire was back on the bead. And I was like, what the fuck? Never heard of that before. But yeah, I pick up trailers here all the time. Tires off the bead, I just run with it. I'm like, it's got auto air. It'll air itself back up. It'll put itself back on the bead. And it does every single time, unless the auto air is not working. So you got to watch that. But if you can hear it hissing, fuck it, run it. And it'll put itself back on. And you'll be good. So, you know, if it's got auto air and the auto air is working, I run it. I don't worry about it. Because that's what everybody did before me, and that's what everybody's going to do after me. So, before, when I first started, though, if it had a leak, if it was low, even if it had auto air and it was airing up, I was like, oh, it's got a nail or something. So, I'd find the nail. I would go and go across the street, because we have the shop across the street, and I'd spend the time to fix it. Of course, I got paid for that, so who cares? But I still had to make all my runs and make all my deliveries on time, so it really wasn't worth it. But yeah, so they do pay breakdown if you can get paid. So I made these new sheets. Let me go there real quick. I'll just go to my text and go to my dispatcher, because I've been sending them to him. So I made these new sheets. And this is what I should have been doing the whole time, but whatever. So, detention, breakdown, layover, etc. So I put my truck number, trailer number, driver ID, bill lading number. Our pro number is our trip or load number. So, I can probably just I can update the sheet and say trip/load/pro number, or just go change that, put it all on one line, trip/load number. or numbers, plural. PO, pro number, which, like I said, our pro numbers are our load numbers. And we could have two different pro numbers, though, or load numbers, because we have a load number for our empty run and then a load number for our loaded run. So, and then detention time, So here, technically, I thought I was getting paid after the first hour, so started at 7, they got me done at 9:30. I wrote 2.5 hours, 1.5 hour detention time. Technically, it was only 0.5 hours detention time. So, breakdown times, layover times, and 34-hour reset. So this company does pay for 34-hour reset also. So you get paid for a layover while you're on your 34-hour reset. So that's nice. Most companies won't do that. Very rarely have I heard where they've done that. So they have appointment numbers too. So I added that to the new list on my computer. I haven't printed those out yet. But yeah, so like this one here, I had 1.5 hours detention time. So technically, I don't get paid for that. But I thought I did. So yeah, load number, pro number, the same thing. Alright, so here I put 2 stops for my pickup, Wisconsin to University Park. So my new sheet has, like, in the top right hand corner, notes typed out, so they'll know that I'll be putting my notes there. But yeah, my dispatcher actually really likes this, because before I was just texting it to him, my detention times or my breakdown times, but he had to go back and look up these numbers, and it was more work for him. So now that I made this sheet and I just scan it in and text it to him, it makes it easier for him to go back and give me credit for these, because he doesn't have to look up the load numbers and all that stuff. It's all right here. Drop and hook. And here's where I had a 30-minute breakdown for wiper blades. I had to change the wiper blades. And I did that myself, so no big deal. Sorry, I'm going to have to edit that out. My girlfriend called. So I had a breakdown time here for 30 minutes. Had to get a new headlight. So I'll get paid for that. Okay, so here... Oh, that's the one I forgot to report. So that one was on me. Alright, here I had 4.5 hours breakdown. Alright, here I had 4.5 hours breakdown. I should be getting paid for that. 1 hour detention time. Technically, that was 2 hours. So... I should not get paid for that one. This one was 3.75 hours. Technically, it was 4.75 hours. So I should only get paid for 2.75 hours of that one. $4.25 hours breakdown pay. 4.5 hours breakdown pay. 2.5 hours detention. Technically it was 3.5, so I should have got paid for 1.5 of it. And same with this one. Detention 175. It was technically 275, so I should have just got paid for 45 minutes of that one. Detention 2.5. Technically it was 3.5, so I should have got paid for 1.5 hours of that one. Like I said, I thought I had to give them the first hour, but I guess I have to give them the first 2 hours. And oh yeah, this is my map that I sent him where I run. Green and yellow, no red. Yeah. So, and that's what I was told I would run in when I got hired on, is green and yellow, no red. So, yeah. And like my dispatcher said, he's got drivers that don't want to run up where I want to run. So, and they like running where I don't like to run. So, you know, he has no excuse not to keep me in the green and yellow. And I got him on the phone admitting it. I don't know if I recorded that conversation, but I try to remember to record the conversations. I didn't record the conversation that I just had with him a few minutes ago. But when he calls me and I'm driving, usually I'll grab my other phone and I'll hit the record button and I'll have him on speaker on the truck phone. And so then I can record the conversation, you know, while I'm talking to him on the truck speaker phone or truck surround sound system. I can record the conversation and blah blah blah. But I think finally my dispatcher and I made some headway. So I think we're gonna be okay, but I don't know, we'll see. Alright. We'll go back to the email and then I'll call my girlfriend back. But I need to find out about that PTO. And it may not apply over here. Alright, hang on. Let's go back. Alright, let's see. Alright, so you need at least 1 year of experience, be 22 years of age, no DUIs, a good driving record. Let's see. I think they said they want the trucks to be 10 years or newer, but I don't think they are adamant about that. I think they're pretty flexible on that. You can have an older truck, but they want it to be 10 years or newer, but I don't think they're that picky. I've seen some pretty old, crappy trucks running here. I mean, they might be 10 years old, though. So it might be 10 years old when the hire's on, but they don't make you get a new one after it's 11 years old, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's for owner-operators. All right, southeast owner-operators. Wow, that's fucked up. The southeast owner-operators get paid less. They should be getting paid more. Southeast sucks. And that's another thing too. You know, the drivers should take better care of their equipment. They should probably give them 2 cents a mile raise every year instead of only 1. They'll probably keep better drivers if they paid them, if they paid their drivers better. I like it here because most of the loads are light loads unless I'm hauling for not home goods. All my Home Depot loads were pretty light. Menards, it's 50-50. But the nice thing about Menards is a lot of times they'll scale the load and they'll slide the tandems for you and get it legal for you. And they have a scale right there on site, so you can scale the load before you leave to make sure you're legal. Tractor Supply, not so much. And their loads are 50-50 too. Some are heavy, some are medium. They scale them a lot of the times, but it's not always. And you can't use their scale before you leave. You have to go to a truck stop to do it. And they basically only scale it to make sure it's under gross, I think. So, but I haven't had any problems. Really, this last load that I just hauled from Menards was the closest one to 80,000 pounds that I've hauled since I've been here, from what I recollect. And it was tight. I was over axle on the trailer when I first scaled it because they didn't adjust it like they normally do. And when I finally got it adjusted, I was overweight by like 100 pounds on my drives, and I was like, I could burn that off. So, and I was 100 pounds under gross. So, yeah, that was probably the heaviest load I've hauled since I've been here. Who else do we haul for? That's pretty much it. TJ Maxx or TJX. So we got TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods. They own Sierra, but I've never hauled Sierra loads. But I do see some of our trailers on Sierra loads. Or at Sierra stores. And then, but I've never done a Sierra load. And then, Tractor Supply, Home Depot, and Menards. That's pretty much 90% of what we do. And if we haul any other loads, it's usually a back haul for one of those companies. I'm pretty sure I hauled for someone else, but I can't remember who that was. 2015 or newer. So yeah, they want it to be 10 years or newer. But again, if it's 10 years old, that's just to get you in the door. And I don't think they make you get a new truck after it's 11 years old. Because I've seen some pretty old trucks here. Must have 10-year work history, no gaps. That's pretty normal, pretty standard. But I didn't see anything about PTO for the road. But this says owner-operators. So I'm going to call them tomorrow. It's Sunday right now. I'm going to call them tomorrow and ask them about that PTO and find out what that's all about, because I've never gotten any PTO. So, yeah. And it doesn't say how many days off, but it says 10 to 14 days out, home every week. So I don't know what that means, but it doesn't say in writing that you get 5 days. You get two days per week, or 2 days per 5 days out, or whatever. I was mostly going on over here, 5 days out, 2 days off. So when I went on the road, I talked to them about what my schedule would be on the road. If I stayed out for 10 to 14 days, would I still get my 2 days off for every week that I'm out? And they said yes. So that was my basis. But I only got that. I didn't get that in writing. That was just, that's my word against theirs. That's hearsay evidence. So I'm going to call them tomorrow. And I'm going to get it on recording. I'm going to find out about the PTO. And I'm going to go through this list. Q&A. I'll fill it out tonight, what I already know. Or what we already have in writing. And then I'll ask them about all this other stuff. The bad thing about their trucks is, and most of the newer trucks, is they have more of an EPU system. So they have S-bar heaters in the trucks, but they don't have any air conditioner in the truck. So, and the truck won't idle until the outside temperature is like 85 or some shit like that, 80 degrees. Well, if it's 80 degrees outside, it's like 100 in the truck. Truck won't idle unless it's over 80 degrees. So, 80 or 85, I can't remember. It's been a minute since I had a new truck. And these older trucks, they won't idle at all in the summer. I don't think. I can't remember. Maybe they do. But anyways, problem with these older trucks is the air conditioner doesn't work that great when you're at a low idle. And you can't idle up the trucks to get the clutch fan to kick in for the AC to actually work. So when you're idling, you don't have very good AC. And it gets really hot in these trucks. That being said, with the newer trucks, which they're pretty much getting rid of these older trucks now. My truck's going to be gotten rid of here soon. So the new trucks, they don't have AC when you're not idling. These trucks, the older trucks, don't either. They have bunk heaters, but they don't have like a AC unit on the back of the truck like some of these companies do. And so you're sitting in the truck boiling. And so I was trying to come up with different ways to cool the truck. I was gonna. You've seen how people convert coolers in the air conditioners by putting fans in them and putting ice in them. Well, I had thought about taking a refrigerator and drilling a hole in the refrigerator door or wherever, and putting a fan, mounting like a computer fan, like a DC fan on it to blow cold air into the truck. Since an actual refrigerator, like those little dorm refrigerators, would be I don't know what the right word is, but basically we could easily put it in our truck, and it would give us a break. It wouldn't really cool the truck per se, but it would give us a break. And then I saw this person with one of those portable, and I had jokingly said talked about putting a window unit in the passenger side window, which you can't really do. But my brother's got one of those portable upright air conditioners, and I saw someone have one strapped to the passenger seat, and he had the vent going out the window. And I was like, oh, that's the perfect idea, because those newer trucks, when the battery gets low, then it'll automatically, the truck will optimize idle, the EPU, or whatever it is, the optimized idle will kick in and the truck will fire up, and then the truck AC will work. So, yeah, so there's that option. So you can put a air conditioner in the passenger seat, and you could also bring a portable heater with you in the winter, just in case the S-bar doesn't work or doesn't work properly. Then you can bring a portable heater with you, plug it in, and then once the batteries get to a certain voltage, the truck will automatically kick on and recharge the batteries, and then the truck heating and cooling would work. So there's that. But anyways, I'll go back through this tomorrow, or tonight. I'll punch in some notes, and then tomorrow I'll give recruiting a call and ask them some more questions. And I'll just say I'm asking for a friend, which I am. You know, you guys aren't really my friends, but technically I could say I'm asking for a friend. It's not really a lie. And then, I'll be like, hey, I'll just say I got someone who might be interested in coming to work here. That way I won't be lying. And then I'll be like, hey, I got somebody who might be interested in working here, and I got some questions. I already know some of the answers, but I was going back to the emails, and I saw PTO, and I was like, what's that all about? I never got PTO while working here, blah, blah, blah. And I got some other questions, blah, blah, blah. So, orientation pay, I don't think they pay that. I never got no orientation pay, I don't think. So, yeah. Alright. I guess that's it for now. I gotta go back and edit this video, but I'll do that whenever I attach tomorrow's video to this video. I'll go back and edit out my girlfriend's phone number when she tried to call me. And then I'll upload this video. So I'll do a premiere video tomorrow. But yeah, if the pay was better, I would say I would stay here. I would not be shopping around. If they would pay better, then they would be better. But anyways, that's it for now. Alright, bye.
The next day.
Okay, I got my truck in the shop right now. I updated this list. I was gonna do it last night, but I went and worked out instead. I was on my 34-hour reset, so I tried to shut down where there's a Planet Fitness where I can go work out. So, I also try to get my truck worked on while I'm on my 34-hour reset, but yesterday was Sunday, and 99% of our shops aren't open on the weekend. So it's Monday morning, and I'm in the shop. However, supposedly, I'm going to get paid breakdown pay for this. So we'll see. Anyhow. It's 9:30 there, almost. So somebody should be in the shop or in the recruiting office. So let's give them a call real quick and ask them a few questions, because I think we got 30 minutes to an hour before he'll be done with my truck. If he's not already done. He's over there messing around, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm at the Evansville shop. Basically, the Evansville and the Franklin shop seem to be the only two shops that actually work on the equipment that I know of. Don't go to the Pendleton yard. They suck if you come to work here. Anyways, all right, here we go. I don't have it on truck speaker, so I just got it on regular speaker. We'll see how loud it is. I'll stay as close to the phone as I can. Hello?
Premier Transportation, how can I direct your call?
Yeah, is this recruiting?
One moment, please.
All right.
Premier Transportation recruiting.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. I got a few questions. I work here, and I know some of the answers, but I got, somebody who might be interested in coming to work here, and so I got a few more questions for them. When a couple months ago, I was looking at being an owner-operator, and you guys sent me some emails, and I changed my mind. But in one of the emails, it said something about PTO, paid time off. What is that all about?
It's listed as PTO, but I think it's really like vacation time that you get. Once you complete like a full year of employment with us, you have I want to say a full week of vacation time.
All right, hang on a second.
Where's the shop guy at?
I think he's on the other side of my truck. Sorry, I'm in the shop. Okay, so after the first year, we get 1 week paid vacation. After the second year, what is that? Because I thought it was 2 weeks after the second year.
I believe so.
Okay, and that's the max, right?
Yes.
So then every year after that, we get 2 weeks, or how does that work?
Yes.
Okay. So let me type that in. Every year thereafter. All right, and so the holiday pay is like the 6 major holidays, right?
Right.
All right. And let's see. Let me go back up to the top of the list here. So I know our mileage pay is like computer miles, but what kind of computer miles do we get paid?
That I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that information.
Okay, it's not, you don't know like practical route or zip code to zip code or anything like that?
No, that's something the dispatcher would know.
Okay. I'll have to ask him then. And that might vary by different terminals, because like I was working at the Olathe terminal before, now I'm over the road, so I know that things are different with each division. So, what about orientation pay?
Orientation pay is $200 for completing orientation, and that goes on your first check.
All right. Oops, what the heck happened? Okay. Hang on a second. My phone's glitching on me. Trying to type this down. You say 200?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Do. I know most of these already, so let's see. Okay, so time off, like say with like the Olathe terminal is 2 days. Is we work 5 days a week, and then we get the weekends off, correct? But then over the road, how does that work? We get.
Well, it depends on how long you're over the road. How long are they going to be on the road?
Okay, so I know it's like 10 to 14 days. We get like. But so I was told I still get, you know, like 2 days for every week that I'm out. But I don't know what's in writing, you know, like say if a new person comes along, you know, what do they get? Because I know rules change all the time. So like if 10 to 14 days, we get 2 days off, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then if they stay out, say 3 weeks, how much time off do they get then?
My understanding, they still get the 2 days, but again, you should definitely check with the dispatcher, because I'm sure, like, they kind of do their own thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I just wanted to know what the rules were, what was in writing, but I guess there is no real set rules for that.
I'm not really sure. I can go off with the information that they give me when I sell the job, but I'm not sure what the dispatcher does out there, because I've never heard of you get 2 days for every week you're out. My understanding has always been just 2 full days.
Oh, 2 full days, no matter how much time you're out.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, let's see here. Okay, I already know all that. Now, I was told that we can get the truck washed once a month. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. Because some people do it every 2 weeks. I wasn't sure if you guys did every month or every 2 weeks or whatnot, but I always do it once a month. And then as far as the benefits go, you guys do the 401k. What's the match on that?
They've updated the information recently. I'm not sure what the current match is. I know if you speak with HR, they can send over the updated benefit package so you can see the updated information. But I do know that they've changed it recently.
Okay. Do you know if it's better or worse?
I'm not sure.
Because I don't think it was that great to begin with. But, you know, I opted out personally. But, you know, this person might be interested. I don't know. So,
it's pretty subjective. What's great for one person may not be great for the other.
True, and I don't subscribe to modern medicine, so that's why I didn't take the health package, because I do natural medicine, and it's not covered under the pharmaceutical medical plans. So, yeah. So, I noticed that we have drivers who have pets and riders. They're allowed to have pets and riders, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I guess that's really it. And life insurance. I know some companies have like a life insurance policy on all the drivers. Do you guys do that?
I believe so. And then you also have that option if you wanted to like get more or get something to cover your family. They just provide that as well, an option for that.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's all I have at the time. I guess I got to talk to HR. And basically everybody starts out at 55 cents and they get a 1 cent per mile raise every year. Correct?
Right.
Okay. All right. I think they should give 2 cents a mile for the people who don't tear up the equipment. You might keep better drivers that way. We got a lot of people who tear up the equipment here. But anyways. All right. I guess that's it.
Did you need to talk to anyone in HR to get those other questions answered? If so, I can get you over to someone.
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll transfer you over.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Thank you for calling. Andre Winkle. Good morning, Critter Sources. Andrea speaking.
Hello. I have a couple. I'm a driver, but I got some people who might be interested in coming over here, and I had a couple questions about like the 401k match and the life insurance, and that's mostly it.
You said you're a company driver?
Yes. 762.
What's your number? Your employee number? Okay. So, when you started in July of 2024, you should have received your welcome email, which included the benefit enrollment guide, which explains all of that information.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, I can resend it to you, and you can take a look through it.
Yeah, because I heard it recently got changed or updated.
Yeah, so with the 401k currently, the company has increased its contribution, and they will provide a matching contribution equal to 25% of the first 4% of your contributions. So 4% and up, the company will match 25% of that amount. I know it's kind of hard to understand, but
well, yeah, no,
basically,
if I put in 4%, they'll match 1%, basically.
No. They'll match a contribution equal to 25% of the first 4% and up.
Well, yeah, 25% of 1% is 0.25%, correct?
I don't know that calculation, but I just know they will match up to 25% of the first 4%. So, I mean, I can send you the guide if you want to, get more information on it.
Okay.
Okay.
No, well, that makes sense. I mean, to me, anyways, I think it makes sense. So, with the life insurance, you guys offer life insurance, obviously, but is there like they wanted to know if there's like like some companies will put life insurance on all the drivers, and then they can opt to have more life insurance if they want. Do you guys do that?
Yes, so the company does provide each employee with $25,000 of life insurance at no charge, and that's whether you enroll in benefits or not.
Okay.
And then if you want to enroll, then yes, you can get extra life insurance.
Okay.
They have different amounts that you can choose from.
And we have accidental insurance as well as dental, optical, and health, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We have critical illness, short-term disability, FMLA, medical, dental, vision.
Okay. That's mostly what they wanted to know. I mean,
PTO as well.
So what is PTO?
Personal time off.
So how does that work? Because I saw that in one of the emails, and I didn't understand it because it's like, is that vacation? That's not counting vacation time, or is that?
Yeah, so it's vacation and personal time combined in one. That's what it is.
Okay, so you can use your vacation time as PTO. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was told when I was working at the Olathe terminal, I'm over the road now. When I was told at the Olathe terminal that I couldn't break it up and use it as PTO, I had to use it in one lump sum. But that wasn't true.
Well, that might have been the old way, because they did make a change, like in, what was it, 2024, I believe, when they updated the handbook. But now they just combined all the vacation and it's all in one PTO.
Okay. But we don't
So,
get it till
yeah.
after the first year or after our anniversary
Yeah.
date. Okay.
You're accruing it for, as soon as you start, and then you can use it after the first year.
Okay, gotcha.
So as a road driver, after you've completed 1 year of employment, you will have 5 PTO days.
Okay.
And then it increases. Like after year 2 to 4, you'll get 10 PTO days, and then up to 5 to 9, 11, and so forth. And it it renews on your anniversary date every year, your work anniversary date.
Okay, so the first year we get 5, second year we get 10, and then the third year we get like 11.
No. So first year you get 5, second year 2, 3, and 4 you get 10. Year 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 you get 11, and so forth. But this is all in your employee handbook as well.
Okay.
Do you want me to resend you this stuff so you can look through it?
Yeah, go ahead, because I'm not sure where the old one is anymore. I've been here almost 2 years.
All right. What's a good email address for you?
Hang on a second. I know that drivers only get paid 1 cent per mile raise every year. And I know we also have a tendency to have a lot of drivers who tear up equipment. And I just wanted to suggest that maybe if we had a better pay system where we pay our better drivers better, then, like maybe give them, I don't know, I mean, I don't have the solution, I just have ideas, but maybe give them a little bit more of a safety bonus, or give them a better raise every year for not tearing up the equipment. That way we can weed out our bad drivers and keep our good drivers. Because like my dispatcher is always complaining about drivers tearing up equipment, and he always tries to give me the harder runs, the harder deliveries, because I don't tear stuff up. And I'm like, well, if I'm getting the harder work, I should get paid better, right? So I think we should have a better incentive to keep better drivers around, because I think better drivers might quit if they're getting treated the same as the lesser.
I see what you mean. Yeah. Well, that's a good idea, but unfortunately, HR doesn't have anything to do with that part. But I can transfer you over to the safety department, and you can tell them your suggestion.
I did suggest that to the logbook department. I don't know if that's the same department.
No, I'm talking about the safety department, that they handle like the safety, the bonuses and stuff like that from drivers.
All right, cool.
Did you want me to transfer you?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I hope you have a great day, and I'll be sending you that email shortly.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Calling Elizabeth Summers. Your call has been forwarded to the voicemail for Elizabeth Summers. No one is available to take your call. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press the pound key for more options.
Hey, this is David O'Doherty, driver 40762, and I was just talking to recruiting because I got someone potentially interested in coming to work here, and also I had to talk to HR about a couple things, some of the questions, and I gave them a suggestion, and they said I need to talk to you about that. So here I am. Now, I know drivers get paid. You know, we get like a base pay when we first get hired on. We only get a penny per mile every year raise on top of that. And there's some drivers out here that have been out here for 20, 30 years. Should get paid better probably. But at the same time, even though they got experience, you know, they may not be all that great. And I know we have some not all that great drivers. In fact, I hear we have a lot of them. So I suggested that, you know, we should have a better pay incentive to keep the better drivers around. Like maybe give them 2 cents a mile raise every year if they don't tear up the equipment, you know. If they do a good job, they don't tear up the equipment, because I guess we have a lot of people who tear up a lot of equipment and they don't run safe, they don't run legal. My dispatcher is constantly complaining and giving me the harder runs, harder deliveries, because he doesn't have a lot of drivers who won't tear up the equipment, and he's begging me to do the harder stuff because I don't tear up the equipment. And it's like, well, if I'm getting the harder runs, if I'm getting the harder deliveries, shouldn't I be getting paid better? And if we have all these crappy drivers, why are they sticking around? And I assume that's because you guys might be desperate because you can't keep good drivers. So I think maybe if we had a better pay incentive to keep good drivers around, we could weed out our bad drivers, if that makes sense. And I'm not sure who to talk to about that, you know. But it's just an idea. It's just a suggestion. And I figure I'd put in my 2 cents. Whether, you know, it falls on deaf ears or not, I don't know. But I feel like we have an epidemic of bad drivers here, and that would be a good way to improve the company. So, because like I said, good drivers are going to look for better pay, and that's the bottom line. So that's what I figured I would, you know, suggest, and in that way maybe we could keep some better drivers. Because I contemplated on quitting too, because I can make more money somewhere else. You know, I like the job here. That's probably the biggest negative with the company, is I don't make as much money as I could make somewhere else. So, yeah. So just food for thought. All right, I guess that's it. Thanks. Bye. All right, so there you go. PTO is not really PTO, but yet it is PTO, I guess. I don't know. So they're gonna send me the insurance and 401k package information. Yeah, the pay kind of sucks here, but if I can get the good drivers, better money, then the pay wouldn't suck so much here, and this would actually be a decent company. So yeah, the loads, most of the loads are not sensitive appointment time loads. A lot of our loads are DC to DC. The only loads that are really tight are like if you're delivering to the stores themselves. So when we deliver when we pick up at the DC and deliver to the store, those can be more time sensitive. But most of the loads, the DC to DC loads, are not that time sensitive. They don't have dash cams. Not even on their new trucks. They should have at least outward-facing dash cams, but they don't have dash cams. I thought the new trucks had dash cams, but what it is it's an AI camera for the truck itself to regulate the speed and to know what's going on around the truck. So they really don't have any dash cams at all. And that's kind of nice. But, yeah. And like I said, the biggest problem with the trucks, they do go 70. They don't do 65. However, the new trucks are 70 on the cruise, but if you put your foot in on the throttle, it derates you to 65 miles per hour, and that sucks. So when I do graduate to a new truck, it's going to slow me down, which is going to cost me money. That's the other thing. When I'm here with this company, I feel like I have to speed all the time because I'm not making enough money, which puts me at risk of getting tickets and accidents. Makes me more of an aggressive driver. And that might be why we have more incidents and accidents because drivers are always feeling like they're in a hurry because they don't make enough money. They need to hurry to make money, and they have more incidences and more accidents. But if the company paid a little better, then we probably wouldn't have people rushing as much. That's just my theory. So apparently their policy is only 2 days off, no matter how much time off you have. But it's up to the dispatcher. Although I was told when I switched over here that I would get 4 days off for every 10 to 14 days out. So, but the recruiter, obviously, we got it on recording, they said only 2 days. So, but they also said it's up to the dispatcher. So, I negotiated 4 days for my 10 to 14 days out. And for 3 weeks, because I stay out for almost 3 weeks, I still pretty much get 4 days off. I could maybe get 5, but they don't like us to take 5 days off. So, but the problem is I can't afford to go home every 2 weeks, every 10 to 14 days. Because I only make 56 cents a mile. Now, once I get my dividends up, then I can afford to start going home more. I figured out if I can replace 3 months of my income in my dividend stocks, then I can, working here at 56 cents a mile. Of course, I'll get 57 next year, or after July, I'll get 57 cents a mile. But, if I can replace 3 months of my income with dividend stocks, then I can afford to go home more. And then again, like I said, every year I get a penny raise. So every year I'll get an extra $25 a week raise, which ain't much to brag about. But, like I said, if they gave the good drivers a 2 cent a mile raise every year, it'd be worth sticking around for. I'm on the fence about quitting, especially if I get my dispatcher to cooperate with my breakdown pay and my detention pay. Then I'll stick around for a little while longer, but it's like I can go somewhere else and make an extra $2,500 or $2,500. I can go somewhere else and make an extra $250 a week easy. And they might have some heavier loads. That's probably the nicest thing about this company is a lot of the loads I don't have to worry about scaling them. Because we're dropping a hook in almost every day. and sometimes twice a day, and sometimes 3 times a day. You know, but you don't get paid for those dropping hooks 90% of the time, 99% of the time. But you know, we're either running empty or we're running really light loads. I'd say 90% of the time to be safe. You know, 10% of the time you might have a heavy load. But like I said, Menards, they scale it for you for the most part. And even Tractor Supply kind of sort of scales it for you. So, yeah. But everybody starts out at measly 55 cents a mile, which that part sucks. They could do better. This 401k, yeah, like I say, it pretty much sucks. They only match 25% of the first 4%, which means they only match 1%. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, life insurance looks pretty good, 25K. The rest of the benefits, they probably are just as crappy as their 401k. So, but yeah, if you want to have pets, you want to have riders, you can do that. From what I understand, though, you can't have them. So, like, say if you're delivering to TJ Maxx and Marshalls, you cannot have your pet or rider in the back part of the warehouse while you're loading and unloading. You know, unloading the pallets and loading the Gaylords. Your rider can go around the building and go inside and use the bathroom, shop, whatever, but they cannot be in the back. And the pet obviously can't, you know, either. So, as far as dispatching, every dispatcher is different. They dispatch us on the tablet. My first 2 dispatchers would text me. Well, the first one, when I was working in Olathe, he would call me and or text me. He'd call me, but he'd say the order real fast, and I would just be like, text it to me so I don't forget. And then, so he'd text me, you know, my loads, and basically he would just text me the stores I'm going to. And then I'd go to the guard and I'd look for that load sheet, and then I'd have my load. Then my second dispatcher, when I went over the road, he would just text me my stuff, and then of course it would be on the computer as well, the tablet. This dispatcher that I have now, because the last one retired, this dispatcher, he talks so fast I have to make him text me or whatever. But he did give me this app where it also tells me my loads. Oh, they took the load off of me. No, they didn't. Here it is. So, so after I get out of the shop, this is where I'm going. And if the computer doesn't match this, then chances are it didn't propagate in the computer, which I need to let him know. Oops. That it didn't propagate in the computer. It's still showing available, but it's not active. So I need to let him know it's not active. So anyways, I guess that's it for this video for Premiere. Let me go back here real quick and double check all the questions before somebody calls me. Deadheading home without... Oh, you have... You know, I try to get... when I go home, I live in Collins, Missouri. So I try to get a load to Springfield, Missouri. Home goods load to Springfield for my delivery. because a lot of times he'll have me go to Kansas City or Topeka to pick up, Topeka, Kansas. And so that way I get paid for my miles going home. Because otherwise, if I deliver in Kansas City and then deadhead home and then deadhead back to Kansas City to pick up, I don't get paid for that 200 miles or 250. It's almost 150. So that's 300 miles almost 300 miles that I won't get paid for. Oh, I forgot to ask about the practical miles. I guess I could talk to my dispatcher about that. But it's computer miles. It's like zip code to zip code or practical miles or address to address. I don't know how they do it exactly, but it is computer miles. It's definitely not hub miles. What areas do they run? They pretty much run I don't know how far west they go. I don't think they go that far west. They're mostly a Midwest to East Coast company. They're based out of Georgia. Let me call my dispatcher real quick.
Transportation.
Yeah, extension 1093, please.
1093.
Correct.
Jamie, get out of you.
Hey, Jamie, 3 things. My load's not propagating. It's still showing available, not active.
Alright, let me fix that.
And are we pretty much just a Midwest to East Coast company? We don't run out west at all, do we?
No, we do. We do like Missouri and Minnesota. I mean, we don't really go. Furthest north we go would be Minnesota. The furthest west the furthest west we go would be like Kansas and that area.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure if we went like to the Mountain Time Zone or West Coast.
No, we don't go that far.
Right on.
We used to back when we went to Texas out of Brownburg. We used to go out to Texas, but they opened up a DC down there, and what they ended up doing was they opened up a DC down there. So we lost that break anyway. So.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but no, I got you on your Columbus though. Okay, I made it active. All right.
All right, they should have me done here in the shop here in a minute.
Okay, good deal, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me know.
Yep.
All right, bye.
All right, thanks. Bye. Oh, I forgot to ask him about the practical miles, but anyways. So, yeah, the freight that we haul is typically TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, I guess Sierra. I've never done that. But it's all the same shit. TJX. Home Depot, Tractor Supply, and Menards. I think that's it. And then, let's see here. Truck wash monthly. So basically, yeah, you get not 2 weeks and not 1 week. It's actually 5 days. So 1 business week or 2 business weeks. So I get 5 days for the first year, 10 days for the second year, 10 days for the third year, 10 days for the fourth year. And after that, I think it goes to like, I think she said 11 days. So I'll have to go back and listen to the recording. And then, not much more, but anyways, it's more. Home time kind of sucks. But again, I guess, you know, it depends on where you go. It might be flexible. But I got it in writing and I got it on recording that if I go back to the Olathe terminal, I get my 2 days off. So I'm going to insist that I have my 2 days off. I don't give a shit. I did make better money at the Olathe terminal, but it wasn't as much as they say it is. And it's a lot harder work. A lot harder work. So I make almost as much over here, and it's a lot less work. So it's like, fuck it, I'll stay here. I'm home less, but if I stay out for 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks, go home every third weekend, the money's decent, you know. And if I get paid for my breakdowns and my detention time, the money will be even better. So as far as the bunk AC goes, yeah, I just look into getting one of those portable air conditioners. I think they're a couple $100. Put it in the passenger seat, have the vent run out the window. We'll have to find some kind of adapter. Hang on, I gotta drink some water. So that guy don't yell at me to drink water. And then, no fridge, but that's no big deal. The newer trucks have a big section where you can put a decent sized dorm sized refrigerator, or at least the newer Freightliners. I don't know. They have, I think, Kenworth and another kind of truck. But they're rare. 99% or 95% of our trucks are Freightliners. No dash cam, which is kind of cool. They do have auto air on the tandems, a lot of them. A lot of the loads are light loads. A lot of our runs are DC. They run duals, not super singles. No hazmat. Benefits suck. Our dispatchers are in the U.S. And no forced dispatch. So if he wants to try to make me go to the East Coast, I'll be like, no! And pet and rider policy. So there you go. I guess that's it for Premier Q&A for recruiting. Let me know if there's any more questions you guys have. And I'll put it on the list. Okay, bye.